Sorry, what were you saying about my coffee?
I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I'm so happy for you living in Germany, where they drink, a higher grade of coffee. Yeah, you've gravitated away from your roots, brother. From from drinking cafe בשטח, אחי, asli, כמו שצריך.
Listen, man, wars started for less in the Druze community than the
I imagine.
Ashkenazi coffee that I'm drinking from a D&D mug. I'm telling you, wars started for less. But it's good. It tastes good.
Listen, see, altam verach, you know what I mean?
It tastes good, man. Hey, I was the number one coffee guy when I was in the army. Like, everybody came to me to make them the Druze coffee on the
Everybody knows.
ala
Everybody
ish,
knows. Yeah.
everything.
Like one of my soldiers when I was on the northern border, on the northern command for many years, and he was so proud of like his coffee making ability, right? It was almost like he would be so like offended if I even dared offer to make the round that time. And it was like, bro, got it. Hey, I'd call him up, he'd make it.
No.
Everybody
Exactly. Exactly.
Dude,
There was two things in the
time,
army. There was two things in the army that I made it clear to all my Jewish, and especially the Ashkenazi friends, is that I'm making a coffee, and Sheshbish, I have a genetical advantage on them in Sheshbish. Just for being Jewish, I was born with +2. In Sheshbish, they have no chance to defeat me. And actually, I was really good at Sheshbish, but that's because I was humbled. I got stuck one time in a bunker in the north in the snow, and it was so deep that we couldn't leave the bunker for almost like several weeks. And there was with me a Bedouin tracker and a Druze tracker as well, like 2 trackers. Mm-hmm. And I thought I knew Sheshbish. And I thought, like, come on, there's not too much to it. They defeated, like, we played like 50 games. They won like 49. Like,
oh man,
that's scientifically impossible. You're playing with dice here. And then I realized they're actually good. There's people who are good. Sheshbish, anyone who doesn't know, Sheshbish is a backgammon.
Yeah.
It's an Iranian game, actually. And speaking of Iran, welcome back, everybody. This is the show today. I have with me my dear friend, Doron Keidar, who is a member of the Special Forces community in Israel and an active duty reservist who have been in since the beginning of the war up until now, more than a few hundred days.
Yeah, over 500.
Over 500 days have been in the front line in Gaza. Have you been to Lebanon?
Once, yeah. So 5 deployments, 4 to Gaza, 1 to Lebanon.
Wow, my goodness. Yeah. And today, me and Doron are here to discuss this Iranian U.S. Trump memorandum. How do you call that thing?
Memorandum, yeah.
Memorandum. If I don't know how to say it, I can assure you that the Iranians don't know. They don't even know what we're talking about.
For sure.
So this memorandum, and especially seeing the implication that it comes to Lebanon, because Trumps have made some really bizarre comments about it. But let's first start with a very silly comment he just made when he was asked why should Iran keep their ballistic missiles? And then later on we can read it, but I literally just saw it right now. I haven't seen the video. I saw like a snippet of it and I downloaded it.
So we'll be working on a parallel effort with the Gulf nations to address non-nuclear issues such as the conventional ballistic missiles, which we'll be talking about, and support. I mean, they have to have some because other people have some. You got to have some. Somebody said you shouldn't give them more. And I have guys. I like some of these guys, but I don't think they're smart. Sir, you shouldn't let them have any missile. I said, well, what am I going to do? They're going to let Saudi Arabia have missiles, but they can't have them? Yes, sir.
Sorry. He's talking about right now allowing an enemy that they were at war with, that want to nuke them, that want to nuke Israel, that is a sponsor of the biggest sponsor of terrorism globally.
Yep.
And now he's saying, yeah, we're going to let them have weapons because Saudi Arabia is your ally, man.
Mm-hmm. And they're very moderate. Let's remember, for the Middle East, Gulf states, they are way, way more moderate by far than the IRGC.
Yeah, they're not launching missiles at their neighboring country for fun.
Nope.
Am
No,
I really hearing him saying that in this deal, they're going to also, on top of everything, they're going to also allow them to have ballistic missiles?
Yeah.
My
What's the
goodness.
big deal with that, right? Which, by the way, let's just remind everyone that one of Trump's first tweets as the war started, the U.S. war against Iran, is that his main objective was to obliterate the regime and in his classic, MAGA, right? Make Iran great again, and that the Iranian people will build their nation after we remove the regime. So I'm sorry, but you're turning on your own declarations as the president of the United States, that you made a declaration. And as you know very well, Mansur, one of the most important things here in the Middle East is your word. Your word is your bond. And if you change your word, you change, what you've promised or said, and you're shifting, then here we see that as a sign of weakness. Here we see it as you're not fit to rule and to tell us what to do or not to do. And that right there is a huge mistake and a huge, talking about backgammon, he might be playing chess, but they're playing backgammon, and like your buddies, they crushed you. They're crushing him in the Middle Eastern backgammon, and it's sad. It's sad to watch. Honestly, I feel like I'm watching a train wreck in slow motion, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
No, this smells out of weakness, ooze out of weakness. MAGA is starting to sound more like Make America Gullible again, because they're just being so gullible. There's just being so. I mean, even here, these jokes. When you win a war, the other side literally have nothing to say except from thank you for not destroying me.
Correct.
If you choose to not destroying them, that's where they come to the table of negotiation.
Unconditional surrender, right?
Exactly, unconditional surrender.
Unconditional surrender, right? Yeah.
So here, not only that we don't have any non-conditional surrender, actually Iran is coming out stronger than how it was before, and they're getting a better deal for Iran than the Obama deal.
Yeah,
this is big stuff, But let's keep hearing from the man here, because I'm just shocked.
It doesn't work that way, It doesn't work that way. And missiles aren't the problem. Missiles they hurt a little location, but they don't blow up the planet. So the Gulf nations will address the non-nuclear issues.
Okay, man, missiles are not the problem. Let's jump right in, Doron, and just read for a second here.
Yeah.
What seems to be
well,
sorry, you were saying something?
He's not speaking as a victim too, right? He's far away from all those threats. None of his countrymen had their whole house, destroyed. You saw the photos and pictures that got publicized. Not everything was publicized, as you know. Israel was doing a very good job to censor anything that went out as far as civilian damage, because we didn't want to let the enemy know, right? How successful they were. But you've seen the damage. Like whole complexes of buildings in central Tel Aviv wiped. In what was it? I'm trying to think if it was Beersheba or somewhere. I know it was somewhere in the south where a religious home was hit, and Dimona. It was in Dimona. The religious home was hit, and the Orthodox Jewish kid who's sleeping in his bed miraculously, he flew out of his apartment building, which had gotten obliterated, and he flew out with his bed, landed outside unscathed by miracle. So thank God, for the miracles that Israel's had in this war, because if it wasn't for the miracles and having a little bit of oversight from heaven, so to speak, to protect us, you can only imagine what would happen to that kid. That just it defies all logic. How does
these missiles are big, man. People don't understand what's a ballistic missile.
No.
Don't
and I
understand
felt the impacts, all around me. I've had my neighbors not far from me land right on their home and so on. We felt, and trust me, it's not a joke. So
Yeah, you feel the
yeah.
ground shaking. It can take
Right.
down buildings. I
Yep.
mean, Israel is just a tough target. So Israel is already
Yeah.
ready for these things. So we have bomb shelters, we have reinforced, buildings that don't fall easily. But
Yeah.
guys, this is serious. Now look at
Yeah.
this. This is the most conscious breakdown of what is repeatedly the 14 points U.S.-Iran Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. Keep in mind, this is an interim framework, yada, yada, yada. The final negotiations supposed to take place over the next 60 days. So that's important to say, yes, over the next 60 days. But let's see what's already the start here, what Iran gets. Sanction reliefs. No new U.S. sanctions during the negotiation period. Oil exports waivers issued almost immediately. Path towards lifting all U.S. sanctions if a final deal is reached.
Back to business as usual. Plainly put.
But that means that the Ayatollah, which is a terrorist organization, stays in power. So they're saying that's as if having a negotiation with Nazi Germany during the war and saying we will lift all the things and you can still be Nazi Germany. Just promise not to try again to conquer the world, and also promise not to do concentration camps again. That's basically to help you guys understand.
No. Let's take back what you said there, actually, because in reality they're still butchering the people. In reality, the Iranians, we're talking about the IRGC, they're still butchering people, killing them in mass, torturing them, hanging them, the whole 9 yards, selling. By the way, talking about for all those bleeding hearts out there that are fighting for human trafficking. What do you think the Iranian regime is doing with the people of Iran? Human trafficking, the black market organ sales
as well,
and trafficking. You name it. They
organ harvesting. I actually saw the video. I saw the video when they were caught with, I don't know, like hundreds of kilograms of female hairs from female victims that they sexually violated and executed. I mean, this is Holocaust horror.
Yes.
Kind of stuff.
So that continues. That continues, right?
Not only that continues, they're actually asking that America will not interfere in their internal affair, meaning that we're gonna butcher our own people. Remember, there's about 5 to 7 million of them, kind of. Some people say 4. Let's stick with 5 million of them. That's the Ayatollah and their proxies and the barbers and the garbage men and the, milkmen and everybody around. That's like the Ayatollah.
Yeah.
And the one that, hump the goats and the one that humps the donkeys. They probably have different brothels for each one. Goats brothels and donkey brothels. But bottom line is,
which is less than 10% of the society.
Less than 10% of the society is ruling a reign of terror and Sharia and Islamic terror over the rest, who just want to have their own life, and most of them just want to be secular and fed up with it. So now we're agreeing that you guys can do whatever you want to your people, keep massacring them. We're not going to interfere. That's basically the agreement here. Insane. Access to money. Gradual access to more than 100 billion in frozen Iranian assets, financial channels reopen for trade and oil sales. Wow. $300 billion of economic plan. The U.S. backed international reconstruction investment in package reportedly worth $300 billion. People are saying Arab countries are going to do that, intended to rebuild Iran's economy and infrastructure. I mean, this is such a bad deal. Even Israel, and I criticize Israel a lot because I'm a Druze and I feel like a lot of time my Jewish brothers don't really understand the Middle East as they should. Even Israel didn't do such a bad deal with Hamas. And Hamas and the IRGC, Hamas basically learned from the IRGC. He kidnapped Gaza and make it its base of terrorism. So it will be suicidal to come and give them money to Hamas. You know what's going to happen. So coming now and giving them money, that money is not going to go for the people. It's going to go again to rebuild their lunatic chain of terrorism. And you know what? If people don't understand, let me prove that to you guys with one video. And this video, I don't know if you've seen that, Doron, but this video shows exactly how the IRGC is fooling America and haven't changed even a bit.
هست که در تفاهم نامه وجود داره اعلام خاتمه فوری و دائمی.
This is the foreign minister of Iran, and he's talking right now about the deal, and he's going to mention something very, very important here for people to listen to.
در همه جبهه‌ها از جمله در لبنان تأکید بکنم این هست که از نظر ما دو طرف این تفاهم نامه یک طرف آمریکا هست و اسرائیل و طرف دیگر ایران هست و حزب الله.
So all of a sudden, they care about Lebanon. Now, Lebanese people are coming saying, don't get us involved. We don't want this. Don't care about us. We don't want to be part of this deal. We have nothing to do with it. It's not a war. Get out of here. So the Lebanese people don't want Iran to get involved, most of them. They care about Hezbollah so much that they forced America to add Hezbollah into the deal. Now, if you are choosing to stop becoming the sponsor of global terrorism, how come it's so important for you to keep a terrorist organization? Hezbollah is like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. I mean, let's be honest. That is terrorizing a whole country of Lebanon, and all you're doing right now is ensuring that your branch of terrorism stays there, even though the Lebanese don't want them. And America agreed to that, meaning that America is being extremely gullible here, or they just don't care. And they're getting something that they want, and the rest are just, leave the Middle East in flames. Because if you want to save the Middle East and give it a better future, you need to defeat and dismantle the IRGC, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Palestinian territory, the Houthis, basically all the terrorist organizations in this region should cease to be, effective as a terrorist organizations. In general, should cease to exist, if you ask me. Any terrorist organization have no place on the face of the earth. But long story short, you can see they're fixated in saving Hezbollah. Now, why would you want to save Hezbollah? Because Hezbollah is a Mother Teresa? Because the Red Cross? Because they're helping Lebanon? No. Because Hezbollah is a terrorist organization that is sworn to destroy Israel. So they haven't changed their skin even a bit.
Yeah. And why should they?
Yeah. And why should they? And because America is so gullible to actually save them right now. I actually heard, I was talking to Gazelle, which is an Iranian activist. Her father was kidnapped by the IRGC about 4 years ago, American citizen. I don't know if you heard that story.
Oh, yeah.
He was an American engineer, and he was on a flight, did a layover in Dubai. He got kidnapped by the IRGC, and then tortured in prison, not released, and then executed, killed by hanging. And she actually thinks that the reason that America is not winning this war is because of the $300 billion and the $100 billion and the frozen Iranian assets and etc. Is because there is people that make money from this, and they have nothing to do with politics. They just want to make money. And for them, a change of regime right now is not good.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, that explained, because why would you not defeat, Doron, why would you not defeat Hezbollah and Iran when they're at their weakest point? Like, they're at the weakest point right now. Why all of a sudden you stop and then you force Israel to stop? Stop. We don't want to defeat them.
Yeah.
Like, there's no logic in that.
The logic is if you understand the neighborhood. And as you know better than most people out there in the world, both of us grew up here in the Middle East. You have a much more, how to say, clear ear. You speak the language. You understand the culture. Your people were targeted for centuries by these Islamists, and the language is simple. It's sabr. They are waiting you out. They are hunkering down, and they know that time is on their side. They know they can't defeat the United States militarily. They know that they can't win with whatever weapons of mass destruction they create and whatever. And they created the whole country as a network, right, with these underground bunkers and systems and whatever that is very intricate, so that essentially we just sit and we wait out the Americans, let them deplete their weapons, their resources, the patience of the American people who don't want another forever war. All these things, they have studied the American people. They have studied the society. Not just that, they also are mastermind, theatrics. They're masterminds in propaganda and using the theater of of division within the American society. They know they can't topple America militarily, but they can topple America morally. They can topple America through division. They're doing the same tactic to Israel pre October 7, by the way. For anybody who did a deep dive of understanding of what made Israel vulnerable for October 7. So essentially what Trump is doing, and this is the big warning for me to America, lessons learned from October 7, don't fall into the trap of divisionism. Don't fall into the trap of letting them lure you in through the propaganda bots that they have online, both them, the Chinese, and Russia. And they have a united front, if you like. They're just going all out on Americans with this disinformation war. And the worst part about this is, again, it's not about, because everything we're reading here, this is the deal that isn't signed. So it's not in, as we say, in set in stone. But the thing is, it's what they're saying. And you just played what they're saying. America, Israel, these two together. Iran and Hezbollah together. These are the two sides. These are the two teams. We are winning because, and we are the righteous ones here. We are the ones who are in the right. Why? Because the language of the region, because you're the one who's paying me compensation. I'm going to make you, right? And it's all through Taqiyya, it's all through Sabr, it's all through these tactics that are Islamic jihadists, which is proven time and time again to work. And they make us fall into these same traps, like you said, because of naivety, because of ignorance. And it's sad to watch. It's
no,
really
you're
sad.
speaking the language that they see as a weakness. But someone made here one of the dumbest comments I've read in a long time. So I'm gonna say it. It's an inhumane society. America are sick of Israel, pathetic society. Peace is always victory for everyone. That is such a woke nonsense to come and say peace is so good. Well, you know what? So peace with Nazi Germany without defeating Nazi Germany is also good for everyone.
Exactly.
While Nazi Germany is rounding up, millions of people in gas chambers and killing them. Peace with Iran that want to build a nuclear weapon that is killing their own people, that is sponsoring terrorism, that is forcing marriage to young girls, that is actually putting a fatwa that you should sexually violate young female virgins that are in prison before you execute them. Yeah. That way they will not go to heaven. So just put that in your head. They're going to bring a bunch of pervert old men that victory because we have peace with them, and they're going to go in a room and they're going to strip 12 years old and do whatever they do to her, take rounds and turns, and then go and hang her, and all because she refused to put a hijab, for example, or because she criticized the government. And for you, peace with these guys is victory. I mean, that is such a dumb thing to say. I had to share it. And once in a while, we got to call out stupid things in the comments here.
Yeah. Well, we keep mentioning Germany, but let's not forget Japan. And this is something that a lot of Americans are really not familiar with, I've noticed. They thought, or they think, right, as far as American, history about War II, we drop a nuke, the Japanese gave up, and the war's over. That's not exactly what happened. Yes, drop nukes, and the Japanese came to an unconditional surrender. And then what did America do? America sent thousands of educators all over Japan to re-educate the new generation. They took all the textbooks that were all about kamikaze and suicidally dying for the emperor, right? Because they idolized the emperor like he's a god. And so they took all of that crazy ideology that was making them suicidal to the cause, right? Which is very similar, as we know very well, to the Mahdi jihadist mindset that Iran is promoting, and in the Shiite version of. And so that essentially is how you defeat your enemy. They unconditionally surrender because you hit them so hard that you knock sense in them, so to speak. They surrender, and then it's not over there. You have to re-educate the people who've been brainwashed with all of this propaganda and whatnot that made them the way they were. But in Iran's case, it's even a different story altogether. The majority, to my knowledge, again, from speaking to the Iranian friends that I've had and interviewed on my podcast, and that you have done as well, They're a different breed. It's not apples to apples, or it's actually oranges to apples, because it's similar but not. And in this case, thank God, the majority of the Iranian people are not brainwashed. They don't drink the Kool-Aid, and they want to be free from this totalitarian reign and regime. So in reality, this is a much better win, right, for the West, or much easier, how to say, foe to defeat. Topple the regime, and the Iranian people will, of course, take over, and you don't have to reprogram their thinking, and so to speak, and whatever, or deprogram them from jihadists and whatever. They have thrown that to the wayside forever ago. And there was this footage online, and you might have seen, we saw a bunch of Qurans thrown into one of their rivers there, like for like miles, as a public display of protest, right, against the Islamic totalitarian reign of the people. And so again, it's not all rosy, just so people understand, what I'm saying and what I believe we're both agreeing to here. It's not like the regime falls and then you end up with this great leadership and future for Iran. It's that the Iranian people, God willing, will elect good leadership, righteous leadership, and grab the reins and regain your nation and re-steer it towards a good way. It doesn't mean that it's going to be that, but there is at least the hope of that, way more than if we just let it go on the way Trump is allowing. Right? He's giving them a green light. Business as usual. Go back to everything, how it was, and not just as it was, but with way more financial benefit, way more backing for them to accelerate their end time doom and gloom worldview of like their utopia, right, of what they have envisioned.
Yeah, I think the Western world today doesn't know how to win wars anymore. The last time they knew how to win wars was in World War II. Correct. Because they were willing to walk the talk and go the extra mile to make sure that you actually won the war. And if you look at the history of warfare, it was always either you completely obliterate and destroy your enemy in the most horrific way, or you destroy them and kill their men and then take their women and children and exile them to the far corner of the earth and make them, second-class citizens, slaves, I don't know what, and then they integrate in your society, and that's it. That nation faded away. Yeah. That's how ancient times. That's how they won wars. That's why you don't have the Amalekim now, and the Edomim and the Philistines and all these nations. They ceased to exist. Yeah. That's how they ceased. And then came World War II, where they still knew how to fight wars and how to win wars. And when they defeated Nazi Germany and when they defeated Japan, just like you said, they went the extra mile and they said, we're not finished until we make sure that there's not an unturned stone here that have a Nazi ideology or a Japan empire kind of ideology under it. And to ensure that, they said, we're going to go and take control over the education system. We're going to take their books. We're going to throw away all the nonsense. And we're going to teach them and make them like us.
Yeah. And by the way, here's a fun fact. You know what the educators did? They had the children in the classroom take the propaganda trash, and they had them with a black marker mark out sentences, and then they'd hold it up to the light. If you could still see the words, you have to go over it again and again, I mean, literally wiping out the propaganda and having them do it themselves, and I found that very interesting when I heard that. I'm like, how many Americans actually understand that that's the lengths that America went to ensure not just it's a current victory, but it's a temporary victory. And look at you, you're living in Germany today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look at Japan today. Look at these two countries.
Two greatest countries, like one of the great. It's funny. It's considered right? Both of these countries are considered the best, strongest passports to hold. Like if you have a Japanese passport or a German passport, it's considered one of the best passports to hold because you can travel all around the world. Everybody loves them. They coexist with everyone so well. They're so advanced. They bring so much innovation and technology and culture to the world. Like they went from being the darkest places to the most like brightest, lightest nations also in the world. And that is because you defeated them and you finished the war. And it
Yeah.
seems to be like they don't know how to finish wars anymore. And that's why we're all stuck, because wars are not fought right now to win. Wars are fought for gains, for political gains. And in this case, it seems to be that wars are fought by whoever pays America more money and can
Yeah.
lobby them to bring the outcome that they want. End of the naval pressure. That's point number 4. U.S. naval blockade around Iran ports ends, and U.S. military presence in Iran reduced during negotiation. My goodness, this is surrender. This is complete American surrender. What the U.S. gets, the Strait of Hormuz reopens. Now listen to this. They open the Strait of Hormuz. Iran agrees to reopen Strait of Hormuz for international shipping. Iran agrees.
Yep. And that's key. That's key, isn't it?
You don't open them. They agree to open it for you.
Yep.
They won in their heads. They won.
They have
and
the
this is
upper
very
hand.
interesting to see how in a war where your soldiers and your army won, but your politicians did such a bad job that it actually ends up being like you lost. This is the deal that only a losing side will agree to.
Yep.
Like, okay, we'll let you open the Strait of Hormuz. Commercial traffic
of Second Lebanon War.
Or restrictions according to the draft. Tolls to who?
Yeah. To who do you think? To Iran. The world pays the toll to Iran, of course.
I heard that, but I find it too hard to believe. Like, this is too ridiculous. If actually they even get paid by it.
Of course.
If
that's why I said it's back to business as usual, as if nothing happened. More than that, you're also going to pay me to rebuild, right? Because I'm the victim here, right?
Yeah.
You know,
and you're the and now everybody knows. And now everybody knows that they control the Strait of Hormuz and they hold the world, by the hands. And that's it. Like, this is bringing Iran stronger than how it was. This deal.
Yeah.
Why
Nazi Germany, Japan, and Italy, and all the Axis nations, right? They get to keep the control of the territories that they had conquered during the war. Makes perfect sense, right? We defeated the Germans, we defeated Japanese, and they hang on to territory. Japanese hang on to territory in China, and so on and so forth. Like, you really think that's what the Allies would have agreed to? No.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
You gave back land, we stripped you, and you even lost. You had the Berlin Wall. I mean, hello. Like, let's remind people of not too far a history. You know, I'm not talking about like the Dark Ages. We're talking about like 80 years ago, guys. Like, hello. You know, are we so detached from what happened not too far long ago? And like you said, the sad reality is that the West has lost the will to do what it takes to win at war since World War II. We've just lost it. And it's not just, and it's my criticism isn't just America, by the way, just to be clear, right? Like you said, being criticizing of the government of Israel. I'm just as critical of our government, and we do the same thing. Second Lebanon War, we left with our tails behind under our legs, so to speak, as far as Hezbollah was concerned. And as because it always, what matters in our region, in the shchuna, as we say, the tribal shchuna that you're living in the neighborhood that you live in, the language of the tribe is that by you doing this and this and this, you're showing that you're subservient to me, that I won. And it's what I declare. So the fact that they're able to declare victory over the Americans, and you saw him, the video that you played, he's declaring to the world, we won. Here's what they're going to do, Israel and America. So it's like, we're shaming them, and they're going to pay us. And that's it. We get the upper hand, and I get the last word. It doesn't matter what Trump says or tweets, and the West needs to remember, tweets do not win wars, in fact,
actually, since you're saying, I just added this video right now. Guys, watch this video. This is a celebration in Iran right now. And they're celebrating what? Victory. They're celebrating victory over the US and Israel.
Yeah, who in Iran is the question. Look at the flag.
Yeah, no, you can see the flags of Hezbollah there. Yeah, you have the flags of Hezbollah. You have the flags of Iran there. The IRGC, I mean. And they're celebrating a victory because in their heads they received victory because America have decided to save them.
Yeah.
America have decided not to finish the job, and like people wrote in the comments here. And I mean, the world doesn't know how to end wars since World War II. They forgot. They got hit so hard in the head. They're too afraid of ending wars right now because there's blood. Oh my God, there's blood. We don't want to finish wars, so let's prolong wars. But when you prolong wars, you actually end up losing more people and creating a worse state. So if you don't defeat your enemy, you're just letting him live so he can come and defeat you tomorrow, and that is just catastrophe.
Here's a quote from one of the great leaders talking about from a time and age where we knew how to win wars. You were given the choice between war and dishonor. You chose dishonor and you will have war. Winston Churchill.
Churchill, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that right there, I mean, Trump right now is acting like Chamberlain, who, you know, he wanted to keep his honor, right? You know, he chose honor over war with Germany, right? Let's keep our honor. Let's make an agreement. Let's sign a deal, you know, and you made a deal with the devil, and the devil did what he's good at doing, killing and destroying and seeking whom he may devour. And you fell right into his grasp. What do you think you're doing, playing that same game with a regime that's nowhere near the Nazis as far as brutality, as far as demonically treating other human beings, right, in the most horrible ways of torture and you name it, and like we mentioned, you know, selling them on the open market, be it their organs, be it human trafficking, be it their hair, be it God knows what else they're you know benefiting off of the victims that dared stand up to these people. And by the way, the blood of these victims is also on Trump's head, because he's the one that made the tweets and made the declaration, go to the streets, help is on the way.
Reclaim your country, take what's yours, take names. He even said, take names, take what yours, help is on the way. I'm sure that added for sure for people running in the streets to their certain death. Point number 6, nuclear weapon commitment. Iran formally refrained it will not develop nuclear weapons. See, it doesn't say will not have a nuclear program. Iran agrees to work with the IAEA regarding its enriched uranium stockpiles. Like, nothing here about completely stopping their nuclear program. And that was the whole thing. So they had a nuclear program before, and they agreed to these deals exactly before, and they lied all the way about it. We know that for a fact. Like, every time they lied. And now America comes and says, we're going to have a deal with you better than the Obama deal. And they did a copy-paste of the Obama deal and send it to them. And then the Iranians made some notes. We don't like that. And America said, okay, let's fix that. And you know, the problem here is because you have Qatar and Pakistan leading this negotiation. And America is trusting right now the voices of Turkey, Syria, Pakistan, Qatar. America is listening to Muslim countries in regard to how to deal with the Muslim world, not knowing that they are at war with the Muslim world. Freeze current nuclear status. Iran maintain the current status of its nuclear program during negotiation. No major escalations while talks continue. End of hostilities. Iran and its allies agreed to cease attacks against U.S. forces and interest. Mutual non-aggression commitment is included. See, there's nothing really mentioning here that they won't attack Israel. There's more mentioning that Israel interest. You know, Israel will not attack Lebanon. I mean, wow, they're winning here, man. That deal is so good for them, so bad for everyone else. Lebanon included. That's
talking about Qatar, right? Because like you mentioned there, this is also an interesting thing, because just after this went public, Trump also sat there with the Qatari, right? And declared, we made a deal with the what is it called, the Emir Seal historic $19.4 trillion going to the United States from Qatar.
Oh yeah. Right when he came, he said that he wants Israel to stop attacking Hezbollah, to stop the war in Iran, agreed to all the terms, and even said that he wants Turkey and Syria to lead the operation in Lebanon and not Israel. That's like, we're going to Lebanon now. That's a good time to enter that point. So
Yeah.
regional closes, Lebanon included. The document reportedly state that hostilities should cease in Lebanon as well. This is one of the most controversial sections because Israel was not direct signatory. So I find it a bit rude, to be honest, that America, after taking a copy paste from the Obama deal and just sending to them, and then they add like more points and bringing a worse deal than before, is coming and saying we're going to force Israel right now that they can't defend themselves anymore. And people, you need to understand, Israel is not trying to invade Lebanon, and the Lebanese know that. Many of them are actually thankful for it. Israel is literally going to dismantle Hezbollah. Lebanon cannot. So everybody, including America, knows this very clearly, that Hezbollah is the main reason there's no peace right now between Israel and Lebanon. Hezbollah and the Shiite radical population there and some of the radical Sunnis. So in order to have peace between these two countries, you got to get rid of Hezbollah. So that's exactly what Israel is doing. Nothing more, nothing less. They're actually doing what the Lebanese government wish they could do, but they can't. So now telling Israel, you can't attack Hezbollah because Iran said so, and America says, yeah, we agree to that. If, let's say, you know what? I tell you what, if the deal was that the Ayatollah regime collapses and Iran becomes a new nation, and then somehow part of the deal would be that Israel will stop attacking right now in Lebanon, I would say, you know what? That's a good price to pay.
Right.
That's a good price to pay. Still not very fair. It's
Not ideal, but it's better than this deal.
But now they get to keep the nuclear weapon. They get the nuclear program. They get to keep the Strait of Hormuz. They get money, paid more money, and then more money. They get to keep insurance that they can slaughter and massacre their own people. And now they even added to it another point. Make sure Israel doesn't attack Hezbollah. You know what that reminds me? You know, sometimes like you can imagine, like you go somewhere and you start talking to someone and he agrees to everything you said. And then you realize, oh my God, why didn't I ask for more?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
and like,
right. That was way too good. That was way too easy. We should have.
You go to the bank. Hey, excuse me, can I get a loan without interest?
Yeah.
How much do you want? Like $5,000? Yeah, sure. Look.
Yeah. Oh, I should have said 20. What was I thinking?
Yeah, I get 20. And they're like, okay, thank you. Then you run out and think like, why didn't I ask for like 100,000? Like, they kind of, they're agreeing to everything that I'm saying. So that's what I feel is Iran is here. It's like, oh my God, they're agreeing to everything. Let's ask Hezbollah. Yes, sure. At Hezbollah.
Exactly.
Let's ask that Israel doesn't attack anymore. Yeah, sure. Give it to Syria. Give it to Turkey and Syria. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's go with that. That's like how it feels that this negotiation is going. That's how bad it is to the Middle East, actually. Respect for sovereignty. Both sides pledge no interference and respect for sovereignty of regional states. So that's what I mean. They allow them to go and massacre their own people and kill them. So in the next 60 days, they're going to be talking about the nuclear program, the future enrichment uranium stockpile, full sanctions removal, long-term security arrangement. By the way, America is all about, we don't want to send boots on the ground, right? That's why we're doing this. We don't, guys, how do you think you're going to get the enriched uranium out of there? That's exactly boots on the ground. Only now you're going to do it under the enemy that want to kill you. You haven't defeated them yet. So you are doomed to send boots on the ground and in a most unsafe environment. If they even let you do it. I mean, come on, they're not going to let you do it. Monitoring mechanism, as if someone could monitor them. This is a joke. Status quo in talks.
Here's a thing, though, too, also about the 30 days, the 60 days. Why the time? Why the time, right? It's the sabr, right? I'm going to wait you out. I just need more time. Hudna, right? It's all mixed in, into that jihadist mentality of wear out your enemy. Just buy yourself time. Eventually, Allah's going to give you the upper hand. They're going to be defeated, and this is how these Islamists always play their game. It's always buying more time. Hamas did it to us in Gaza, right? Ceasefire. Right when, and I was there, right when you had the boot on their throat and we're like, okay, this is it. We're crushing them. Immediately, they put up the white flag. Let's ceasefire. Let's talk. Let's see what, hey, let's negotiate. We'll give you these many hostages, blah, 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 blah. And the minute Israel went to the negotiating table and bought into this crap, while we're being told ground operations are halted. So we're just twiddling our thumbs. The soldiers like, okay, all right, so what are we doing? And you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait. And then they go, we're kidding. We're only going to give you 5 hostages. We're just only going to right? And we saw that with the Bibas family and the way we received them back, right? The way they did that whole theater, right? We were talking about the theater of Iran. Well, all of that was transmitted to Hamas. That comes from Iran, this whole making a theater, the videos with the triangle thing, right? This whole dramatization of look what we're doing to them. It's all that propaganda. It's all this big show and humiliating your enemy. In this case, it was Israel. But when it comes to Iran, it's to humiliate the United States and Israel. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And so that's also an important factor, to me. Anything to do with buy time, you don't have time. You are surrendering now unconditionally, period, or nothing. The fact that you're negotiating time and you're taking time to negotiate and or sign whatever deal they're going to finalize on in Geneva, if they finalize on anything, because again, we're just talking in the air here, so to speak, and venting our frustrations per se. So we don't know. So for you and me to be completely transparent here, yes, we don't know. But the point is, it's what's being discussed in between the now and the signing of the deal, I think, on Friday. So if at all. And so anything with time, the fact that it's even in there, and again, it's what the enemy is saying mostly, is your problem here, in my opinion.
Yeah. You know what? You've been talking about this deal, and I brought up here the Hudaybiyah model, which is textbook what the Iran right now is doing in this negotiation deal with America. And in general, Islamist regimes, and the more radical they are, the more they lean on it. This is like their blueprint of how to deal. And that's what the West doesn't understand. In the Muslim Arab world, a deal is a form of deception. That's like the term. Let's make a deal. Why? Because if you're stronger, you don't make a deal. You just go and beat them up and take what's theirs. That was always the culture. It's a culture of the strongest, the fittest of the strongest, who's stronger takes whatever he wants. And you saw that also with how they take women and how they take little girls and how they take the plunder and etc. It was never built on a society of traders and merchants and, investors, SP 500.
Honor system.
Yeah, it was a society of raiders who went and killed and plundered and raped and murdered. And that's how they got their profit, and then they went and moved on and did it again. That's what you were seeing in Syria and etc. So for them, a deal was always a way to trick an enemy because you can defeat it. And I'm going to read it for you guys just so you get the idea. So Hudaybiyah model is in 1628 AD, Prophet Muhammad signed the treaty in the Hudaybiyah and the Quraysh of Mecca. Many Muslims at that time thought the treaty looked unfavorable and full of conscious concessions. However, reminds us of a deal right now, right? However, the truce gave the Muslim community time to consolidate power, expand alliance, strengthen its positions, and spread influence. Within a few years, Mecca fell under Muslim control. In Islamic tradition, Hudaybiyah is commonly viewed as a major strategic victory achieved through patience, diplomacy, and long-term planning. That's how the Muslims see it.
The sabr.
Just like you said, exactly. So the principle is hardline, and that's how it's interpreted there. Make peace when you are not yet strong enough for decisive victory. Accept temporary compromises. Gain time. Strengthen economically and militarily. Like, this is textbook. Like, America is falling to their Hudaybiyah deal blueprint. Textbook. Expand influence during the truce. Recess when the balance of power changes. Pressure large objectives from a stronger position. Why critics compares Iran to Hudaybiyah, and that's what I wanted to bring here. So the regime in Tehran negotiated that way, promise moderation, signs agreements, obtain sanctions reliefs, gain access to money and trades, reduce military pressure, continue strengthening proxies and strategic capabilities, return later with a stronger position. Oh my God, that's exactly what happened right now.
Yep.
It's one by one. America is following textbooks into this story with this really bad deal, and they're talking deal from a business perspective, where the whole idea of like deals in the West is usually the best deal, they say, is the one that both sides feel like they won. That's
Yep.
like the best. Like people talk about this all the time.
Win-win.
That's the
A
art of
win-win.
deal making. Like make him a deal that he cannot, that he feels that he won and he can't say no to it, and he's gonna do it. And then you won, he won. That's not how it works there. There, a
Mhm.
deal is a direct way to deceive you, to buy more
Yep.
time, get more power, get more influence, and then come and destroy you and take what's yours. And when you're having cultures that think so differently, and you're so proud, no wonder that America just had a really bad deal there, really bad. Now, moving to Lebanon, Donald Trump made this bizarre statement, probably one of the dumbest statements I've heard from a recent modern day politicians, with all due respect. And you don't need to take my word on it, just hear it for yourself.
Suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
Better job.
I didn't like where 2 hours
Better
before we're
job.
signing the agreement that there was an attack in Lebanon, in Beirut. It wasn't like in the southern side, and it was in Beirut. I did not like that. I let them know that. I didn't like it.
Better job. Syria is gonna make a better job. Do people
So who do we
even
have in Syria? Who are these amazing?
so
Oh,
yeah. So this
okay.
is the picture that you sent me on WhatsApp.
This
Guys,
is the guy. This is the guy.
that's the guy who's gonna make a better job. His track record, by the way, that's his CV. If you go to his LinkedIn, he used to work in Al
His
Qaeda and in
LinkedIn.
ISIS. He was a member of Al Qaeda and in ISIS, and then later on, he opened his ISIS branch in Syria, and he felt that it was not, efficient enough, so he rechanged it to his Al Qaeda branch in Syria, and then he felt they were not efficient enough, so he started his, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, and he started al-Nusra and his guys in Syria, which is a different terrorist organization. He have made as many terrorist organization as a brilliant startup guy from Tel Aviv. Like, in Tel Aviv, they have startups, they don't have terrorist organizations.
Right.
That's like how many terrorist organizations this guy have funded, started from the ground, and did an exit, sold them later on.
He even collaborated with Bakr Baghdadi, and then they separated because Baghdadi wasn't extreme enough, if I remember correctly.
Well, it's more like Baghdadi wanted to keep it globally and, keep fighting with the whole world. And he said, let me first conquer Syria, ethnically cleanse Syria, and then I can move on to the rest of the world. So there was like in disagreement with them. He wanted him to focus on fighting planet Earth. And he said, let me just first kill all the infidels in Syria and then move out. Now, if you're wondering who's his colleagues in that government, well, that's the guys.
Wow.
These are the people. These are, the people that he brings around him as Ministry of Education and of Defense. By the way, this is not a joke. The Ministry of Tourism, Education, and Defense, and etc. are all Al Qaeda ignorant guys that barely know how to read and write, but they're very good at managing. So that's the government that Trump is offering. These goat humpers, that's the government that Trump is coming and saying, let them, they'll do a better job. Now, let's take it down, step by step. What does it mean, better job? Do they have precision missiles? No. Do they have an Air Force? No. Do they have a Mossad capabilities, Shabak, 8200, 504? No. How are they going to do a better job? Syria have occupied Lebanon before, and they've killed them and tortured them and massacred them, and made it like, I spoke with Lebanese here in Germany that came and told me that they would rather the IDF on Syrian every day, because whenever they came in front of an IDF soldier, they got candies and they got food and they got a picture with them, and they showed me. Like, I've sat with Lebanese people here in Germany. So look, I took a picture. I was sitting there next to the soldier, Merkava, and etc. Nice guys, We're very thankful that they were there. We're very respectful. He said the Syrians, they would come to us when we were playing football as kids and will beat the crap out of us and take our stuff, and we'll go to our houses and plunder our houses and steal all our stuff and humiliate and embarrass and shoot us and torture us. So Trump is suggesting here to take one of the most extreme jihadist countries on the face of the earth, that even America came and said they're so close to civil war, that is compiled from about 27 terrorist organizations. That's the government and the army there. Under them, there's about 40 more, like sub-terrorist organizations. And the most moderate ones among them, by the way, is Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Like all the rest are worse. All the complaint that they have to Jolani is that he's not extreme enough like they would want him to be. Now you want to send them into Syria to fight Hezbollah and to liberate Iran because you feel like what Israel is doing is inhumane, because Israel calls the Lebanese and tell them, hey, can you everybody get out of the building? And then they call again to the fire department because they have his number as well and say, hey, listen, I see you evacuated everyone. Can you confirm that there's not a single human left in that building? Yes, it's confirmed. Okay, just go and check again. Yes, okay. And then a rocket falls down. So Syria, on the other hand, they were having helicopters flying where they will drop barrels of explosives that they lit up with a cigarette, and they will try to aim at school parties and at funerals and weddings. Like the more that they see more people gathered, they try to aim there. Israel try to move them. And that's what Trump is suggesting that they will go and do in Lebanon. That is insane. And you know what's even the craziest part, Doron? The Lebanese themselves are saying, no, we don't want that. Don't allow the Syrians here. This is like the worst thing ever. And many of them are actually saying Israel is the only way that can happen. Now, some of them are not happy, and I understand that. No one really likes when another country bomb your country. But many of them can swallow that pill because they know that that's probably the only way to defeat Hezbollah. And not to mention that Hezbollah is actually much more trained and stronger than the Syrian army. So, like, you're going to have a bloodbath, a skirmish. They're going to be like, Israel have been prepared for this war for so long that they actually literally go and, you know, how do you do this? How do I show the 3D? I don't know how to do that. Okay, I wanted to show you like the 3D image of the terrain in Lebanon. But anyway, my point is it's such a difficult terrain that the reason Israel is capable of defeating Hezbollah there is because we have so much intelligence of where they are, and we send our special forces like Maglan and Shaldag. They go behind them, knowing how they're going to retreat as they're fighting Israel and trying to lure Israel in. So their strategy would be, we'll fight Israel here, and then they come and we lure them here, and then we ambush them. But unfortunately for them, they get, you know, shot from the back as they're going in, because all of a sudden it goes, or Maglan pops up behind their backs in their plan and take them out. And they're making them almost obsolete, like they're inefficient in almost every possible way, because our special forces and our intelligence know their strategy so well that even though it's a good strategy, we managed to completely eliminate and dismantle it. And there's like so many reports of this being done, and we have enemy special forces units that went way deep inside behind them, undercover units, and etc. Syria have none of this. They're just gonna have a bunch of farmers with shotguns and machetes.
Jihadis, man. Let's just call it what it is. It's a bunch of jihadis. And you know, here's something people also I don't think know. One of the miracles and blessings on October 7 was what happened beforehand. So Iran orders, what's his name now? I lost his name. The leader of Hezbollah before we took him out. How did I forget his name? Goodness gracious.
Soleimani.
No.
Hezbollah,
Nasrallah. Thank you. Oh, golly, I've just like brain fart. And so they pressured Nasrallah and said, you need to send the Hezbollah guys to join in the fight in Syria. And they sent tens of thousands of the Hezbollah guys who got butchered by ISIS. I mean, they got slaughtered. It's not like, I mean, you know, they were inefficient, but it was just that they were overwhelmed, right? And plus it wasn't their terrain, and it wasn't what they're used to doing, which is setting up traps and booby traps and luring in the IDF and playing guerrilla warfare. It's like now you're on the offensive in someone else's country. And what I'm saying is that thankfully it cut down their ranks, right? It took Nasrallah, years to try to rebuild that. And as he was still trying to rebuild his forces, they were kind of like, cold feet on October 7th, if join or not join, because it was kind of like, is it really worth it for me? And so that saved Israel. It bought Israel time, so to speak. And because had the Radwan units joined in on October 7, the ramifications of what that would have been. And so all that to say, can you imagine now that Hezbollah sees Giuliani's guys coming, which did them a good number, right? Just we're talking about just a few years ago. I mean, they're going to be pissed, and and they're going to want to pay back Giuliani's guys for the defeats and for the humble pie they got in Syria, but except that now they have the home court advantage, right? Yeah. And then, of course, then you have Turkey, and so on and so forth. So all these chess pieces moving around, and
not only
it's just going to get ugly one way or other. You know what I mean?
It's going to get so ugly, and you know what? I'm not worried.
The Lebanese are going to suffer the worst. Is the sad reality. The Druze, the Christians, and all the other minorities in Lebanon are just going to get slaughtered.
Exactly. That's the thing. I'm not so worried about Giuliani's Al Qaeda and ISIS guys being slaughtered.
Let them fight it out.
Let them kill one another. I'm not worried about that. But we've seen what Giuliani's Syria did to the Alawites, for example.
Yeah.
They went into Alawites villages, innocent Alawites who had nothing to do with the regime, and they started, massacring them, burning them, killing them, executing them in front of their mothers, making them bark like dogs in the streets, and etc.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they hate Hezbollah and the Shiites even more.
Exactly.
Because they were the reason that Assad was ruling over them, because Hezbollah is way stronger than their army. So Hezbollah was actually the muscle in Syria, keeping the Syrians, oppressed under the Assad regime. There was an agreement between Iran, Hezbollah, and Russia, kind of basically, to protect Assad, because he was just a failure. Like, he was really a failure as a leadership, just a really bad guy, but like very, very, very incompetent. So now, if they will be let into Lebanon, they will take all of their frustration and hatred on the population, on the Shiite population, on the Druze population, on the Christian population. And we've seen what happened with the Druze. When they were going to massacre the Druze, there were a lot of Chechen fighters, and also some from Somalia and other places from Africa and all over the Middle East and all over Europe, that came to the war, and they got captured by the Druze. And when they were asked, what are you doing here? Like, they didn't speak Arabic even. And they said, I was promised by the government that if I come and I kill a Druze, I can take his women and children and all of his, possession.
Yep.
So they came just to plunder
fighters and so on.
Yeah. Yep. So if Syria doesn't have control over its forces, so if Syria enters Lebanon now, that means that they will just wash through that continent there. Like, I want to show you guys the map here. Share screen, the Google Maps. Here we go. So they're gonna basically come from Syria. So that's Syria here. They will enter. They can't enter through Israel. That's the south here, guys. So they're gonna have to enter through these areas here. That's the center of Lebanon. All right. So they're gonna have to enter through these areas here and walk in, and then Hezbollah is mostly located in the south. So they will try to come to the south. Israel will not let them because they don't trust them. So they gotta actually go to Beirut. Now, people don't understand. Here in Syria, it's a Mad Max. It's like Mars. Like, it's very poor place. Look at that. Most of the Syrians there are shepherds and goat humpers living in very, 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 very poor. Poor. Look at this. This is like Mars, guys. This is like you're bringing people from here, and you're gonna bring them to one of the richest lands in the Middle East, Lebanon.
Which look how beautiful that is.
Fertile and beautiful. Basically, heaven in Islam. Whenever Islam was talking about heaven, they were describing Lebanon. They were describing what the average Lebanese have in his backyard. So they will go, and all of a sudden they will enter Beirut. These goat humpers have never been to a metropolis, to a big city. They will rape and plunder and destroy and burn everything inside. They will run back with fridges and microwaves and plasma TVs after they beheaded everyone, and they will do selfies as they go, because this is Syria, guys.
And they can
Syria,
come in also from the north, by the way.
yeah, Syria is a shithole.
I mean,
Forgive my friends.
it's completely surrounding Lebanon, from like a 180 pie, so to speak, right? So I mean, they just pick they can invade from multiple entry points into Lebanon and just devastate them completely.
Yeah, look at that, man. Look at that. This is Syria, man. This is like a relatively wealthy place. We're not talking right now, but
Yeah,
Damascus, it's like the suburbs around Damascus, This is
Mm-hmm.
Syria, guys. This is Syria. So you want to bring people, and by the way, the fighters are not going to come from these places. That's like the
No.
elite of Syria. The fighters are going to come from these areas. Dara. They're going to come from these areas. These, look at that. They barely have roofs over their heads.
Yeah.
So they're going to come from these areas, and they're going to just go like Mad Max with their trucks and this, and they're going to come and enter and start plundering and destroying Lebanon. And I tell you, that's my theory. And I think no one is talking about it yet, but maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I think that Turkey and Qatar are behind this, and they're witnessing the fall of Iran, and it's creating a vacuum. And they're having contingency, a power vacuum, and they're having contingency right now. And says we must have Muslims fill that power vacuum. And what they're aiming on filling that power vacuum is with Turkey and Syria, because Syria is a puppet for Turkey. It belonged to Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Turkey literally went and managed that coup in Syria, and later on they got the blessing of America, and they went and slaughtered the Kurds as well. So Turkey is controlling Syria, and now Turkey is pushing to become the next Iran. Notice that Iran had Hezbollah, Turkey have Syria and Lebanon. Now Turkey is thinking in their head, that's my theory, if they will convince America with money that let them deal with Lebanon, they will go in and they will conquer Lebanon and pretend to be like they liberated Lebanon, and then will create their bigger Muslim ummah. And I think the end game they're playing is to come to America and tell America, hey, listen, we're your guy here. We're your guy in the Middle East. We're your allies. Anything you ask from us, we're going to give you. Here, Turkey and Syria is your boy here. Add Lebanon to the club. Turkey, Syria, and Lebanon is your boy. Anything you want, we'll give you. Just let us be the empire, buying time. And
plus they're NATO.
Yeah, plus they're NATO. And slowly take Israel out of the picture. And with that, and here's the mastermind Muslim Brotherhood plan. They're saying, okay, let's look at the youth in America. They're being brainwashed and falling to actually love jihad more than their own country. Islam is growing bigger and bigger. We have Mamdani already. London is ours already. France is ours. Belgium is ours. Very soon, we're going to have Germany as well. Europe is going to start becoming a Muslim caliphate. America is going to become more aligned with Islamic ideologies and hating Israel, because we're going to blame Israel for all the problems in the world. So let's do the chess game right now. Let's grab Syria. We got it. Let's grab Lebanon. We got it. Let's strengthen this belt around Israel. And when the time comes, when the American regime will be so anti-Israel and pro-world jihad, that will be a time to make a move. I think that this is the play that they're doing right now. And we see already Trump reverse, Ahmed al-Shara. He's a dear friend of mine, tough guy, not a Boy Scout. Erdogan, good friend of mine. How can you call this guy a friend?
Yeah.
These are very evil, very bad people. They hate you, by the way. The average Turkish person hates America, hates the Christian. There's with zealous in their heart. So you're coming and saying, these are my friends right now, and I trust them more than I trust Israel. We're not going to defeat Iran. We're not going to let you destroy Hezbollah unless there's another alternative. What's the alternative? And here's what they're afraid of. That is the key. You see, all the Muslim countries around the Middle East, they're afraid more than anything is losing Muslim land into the hands of the Christians or the infidels. Now,
Mhm.
remind you, there's no such thing as Muslim land, because if you're watching this, guys, this is where Islam started. Anything outside this area, anything, Haibar here, anything outside this area here is not Muslim. It's been occupied, colonized, and genocided. So here was Christian, was Coptic, was, Egyptian. Here, Libya, all these places were never Muslim. Islam expanded and conquered and killed. Iraq, Syria was Christian, Jordan, Israel, these places were Jewish. These places were never Muslim. So now they're looking at Iran and they're saying, if Iran collapse and stop being a Muslim country, all of the sudden Saudi Arabia and Oman and Kuwait and Iraq and all these guys are thinking, wait a second, maybe our people will start saying, we don't want Islam to rule over us anymore. We want a better life. Because what will happen is, the moment that Iran will become secular, Iran will have suddenly ties with Europe and with Israel, and Iran will start promoting, science and culture and economy and democracy. And all of a sudden, you'll have astronauts coming out of Iran. You'll have, Nobel Prize winners for peace and etc. You have inventors. You'll have startups coming from there, tourism, and it will make all the rest look like a shit show. They would look really bad. And they don't want that. They're very afraid of that. And also, most importantly, it will stop being Dar al-Islam. It will become Dar al-Harb. Dar al-Islam is anywhere under Sharia, Dar al-Harb is not. So that's why they get terrified every time that they feel like Islam is going to lose land. And in Lebanon, they're terrified because if Israel weaken Hezbollah, the Christians will take back Lebanon. And if the Christians will take back Lebanon, then Lebanon will become Christian again, and it will become a good country again. And that is terrifying them. So to your question, you asked me before, what do I think about this? That's what I think is the play that is happening right now behind the scene. And it's a very dangerous play. And America is just gullibly, make America gullible again, is just falling into that textbook falling.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it's either that or Trump was actually saying, let's send Golani in there, and maybe that's what he meant. And he wants, he wants the best IDF battalion in the IDF, the Northern Battalion, the Golani guys, and it just sounded like Julani, so that's probably what he meant. And
I want to see if there's an image in the internet that laughs about Golani, like he's Golani.
Which, Julani is his, if I understand correctly, it's his like nickname, so to speak, that he was given because it's alluding to he's from the Golan. He's that's like where his roots are from, so to speak. And so in the Hebrew, it's a play on words here, playing off of his nickname, this scumbag terrorist warlord. But that's, to me, we need to make a parody and just be like, here's what Trump actually meant. And you see a bunch of Golani guys going into Beirut, and they're playing their Mizrahi music, like full blown, sitting there, having a cold beer down in downtown Beirut there, enjoying the beautiful, Middle Eastern culture that they've just liberated from these terrorists, and having a great, hilarious time. And that's what Trump meant. And that makes sense. To me, that makes sense, right?
Habibi, you idiot. What have you done? He brought us Golani.
Yeah. And Netanyahu can just play stupid and say, I said it, send Golani, so I sent in Golani.
That's brilliant. Yeah, Netanyahu should do that and says like,
yeah.
You mean Golani?
And
sorry,
all
guys,
of the Golani divisions up north, man, and just have them go all the way into Beirut, and put up the Golani flag, which is not too far from the Hezbollah flag. You got the yellow in there, the yellow and the green, and so it wouldn't ruin the terrain too much, so to speak, right? The landscape.
But by the way, there's a lot of criticism about Al-Julani in Syria by his own people, And
Correct.
because they say that he's a traitor for Israel and for America, but the reason they're saying he is, it's very funny actually, because they're saying he's not allowing them to kill more minorities. Like he's not allowing them to invade Jerusalem and to go and slaughter the Jews and kill all
That's
the
right.
Jews and the Christians in
Yeah.
the south. So they're saying, you promised us that this is what we're going to do. We're going to cleanse Syria, but you're not allowing us. You must be a traitor. Now they don't know, because they're, goat humpers, that the reason he's not allowing is just because he's terrified, because if he comes close to Israel, Israel will kill him.
Correct.
Israel would kill him and just, bury all of his people in the sand. So that's why
Yeah.
he's.
But they did film themselves after they had conquered Syria, and that's what a lot of people, in the West, I think they had no clue. Like to your point, I remember them filming themselves, and I was warning the West. I was making reports because nobody was really talking about Giuliani, because they only saw him in the suit and tie. They didn't see him in his native garb that we showed here on the show. And so his guys, his thugs, were filming themselves selfie style, and we're coming, Khyber Yahud, we're coming to Al-Quds, we're coming to Jerusalem, we're going to conquer the Al-Aqsa, and we're going to liberate it from the Jews. That's what they were declaring as their next move that they're looking for, or forward towards, I guess, right? That was like their great hope, is now Israel, now we're going to topple them. And so, it's not like what we're saying is some kind of, what is it? Candace Owens, let me tell you this hidden stuff that nobody knows.
I had a dream.
I had a dream.
Charlie Kirk came to me in my dream and told me.
Yeah, like there's receipts to what we're saying here. You just can Google it already now, I bet. And even if you Google in English, you'll find those videos. But it's very telling. They're not hiding. That's the thing. They're not hiding their agenda. They're not hiding their intentions. And that's what blows me away, is that Westerners, it's like they see them say that, or they don't. And it just goes over their head. It's like, oh, no, it's all about liberating Syria, and they skip all the videos of the Druze.
Yuvi is saying, you said Witkov, not Titkov. For those who don't know, Titkov is attack in Hebrew, and Witkov is Witkov. So
we got some good Israelis here.
You should be an advisor to the Israeli chief, of staff, the Ramatkal. Listen, man, no one is going to get angry at you. Just send Golani right now. Let them go and finish Hezbollah, Syrian style. Tell them to do it Syrian style. And then when they come in, it's like, oh, you meant Giuliani. Golani. I'm sorry, Trump. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad mistake on me. I'm sorry. Golani, come out.
And you can also send the Air Force under that same umbrella, because remember the Smotrich statement that Golani can be Air Force as well. So another little nod. Wasn't the Air Force there? These were Golani pilots.
Golani pilots. Yeah, if you have Golani pilots, they're gonna end up being kamikaze pilots. Let's be honest. With all due respect to Golani, and I have a lot of respect.
Trust me, all my Golani friends, we were laughing about that statement for weeks.
Imagine you're sitting in a tent with Golani soldiers, and then Smotrich comes in. They can be pilots, and they're looking at each other like a Buzaglo and a Avigdor. I can barely drive a D9, man. You want me to fly an airplane, or you lost your mind?
Exactly. Crashing the simulators that they're playing on their phone.
I agree. We need to take Sweda as well.
Yep.
So, wow, man. Actually, there's one video here that we haven't showed.
Okay.
I think we haven't showed it. What is this? No, we've shown this. Here, this one. What is it?
They don't comply, but there's nothing enforceable in the deal itself. Is that correct?
Doesn't have to be. I let him know. I said, look, if you don't adhere to the agreement, I don't want to do that, but we're going to bomb the hell out of you. And I don't think that they're going to veer from the agreement. What else am I going to do? Am I going to say I'm going to take you to court? Let me take you to court. Let me sue you. No, we're going to bomb the hell out of them if they violate the agreement. I don't want them to.
Here's the problem. You say these things and you makes you giggle and you're happy about it. Yeah, but record speaking right now, America chickened out.
Yeah.
They went in, they defeated, they crushed their enemy. Their army is the strongest it ever been and the strongest in the world, and they've aced it. Them and
Yeah.
Israel have aced it.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, instead of finishing the job, they're getting told, pull back, help them out, give them money, give them what they want. They're going to promise us they won't do it again.
Yeah.
But we all heard, just like you said, at the beginning of the war, all the statements. We're gonna, erase the civilization. We're gonna destroy them. We're gonna crush them. We're gonna, send them 500 years back to the Stone Age. So if they break the deal, which they are most certainly 99.9999999999999% will break that deal. There is no
Sure.
alternative. Like I'm telling you, mark my words, so we can have this conversation in a month or 2 or 60
Yep.
days. They will break the deal.
Yep.
They will
Yep.
100%. They want to keep Hezbollah. They will 100% break the deal. It's in their DNA. It's not like a pizza place that realized one day, hey, listen, man, let's be a sambosik place and make borekas instead of pizzas because it's more profitable. So just use the same ovens and make it a bit different. Wrap it up, keep the cheese inside. Let's change. It's not. It's a terrorist organization.
Yep.
A terrorist organization that is doing everything he can right now to survive.
I want them to honor the agreement. Again, the straits close up. Bad things can happen. In war, terrible things happen. Like you mentioned the question before about a school gets hit. Other things get hit. Bad things happen in war. War is a nasty place. I see it. I see it better than maybe anybody has ever seen it.
Someone is saying, but don't you know Trump is playing 3D 65D?
65D chess game.
It doesn't matter what kind of chess game you play. If you're playing against people that are playing backgammon with you and sheshbesh, you're not playing the same game, guys. You're just not playing the same game.
Exactly. He's not speaking the language of the region. Again, guys, whoever made that comment, you need to remember what we're both saying here. Okay. We're from this region. We understand the language. We understand this, our backyard. And what we're trying to explain to y'all in English, right? In understandable English, or in my case, in American, because the British won't call this English. We're translating their mindset to you guys the best in our ability. And that's funny.
Trump got a Mars Turkey from them. Sorry, that was too funny. I had to share it.
Oh man, it's how are you perceived by your enemy, and that's just ask that question, and look at the Iranians, bullface, talking like as if nothing happened. There's no loss whatsoever to them, and you saw what we showed here, the celebrations in the streets for those that are of the IRGC, because I can guarantee you these are not the Iranian people that were protesting a few weeks ago. And that's the blow, right? They're going to the streets. They are flying their flags, which is not the Iranian flag with the lion, right? It is the IRGC flag. They are flying that and they are in your face. And that's the deal. And if your enemy is coming to you on their knees and saying, whatever it takes, do not eliminate me. That's unconditional surrender. This is not a win for the United States. Now, more than that, guys, think about the men and women that have been deployed, that have worked hard, that have done their duties. They've worked around the clock. They've risked their lives for an actual result. And let me tell you, those soldiers, and I could be wrong, because again, I did not serve in the U.S. military. I served in the IDF, and I've been serving the IDF for over 2 decades. I can tell you as a warfighter, when we left Second Lebanon War, we left with our heads down, and I was defeated. I left with a feeling of defeat, and I was pissed, and I was livid, and we all shared those same sentiments. None of my, maybe some of the guys in my unit were like, well, at least it's peace now. But I can tell you that for the majority of us who were willing to pay whatever sacrifice and go for however long until Hezbollah is eliminated and the whole north has actual peace. That was what we were setting out to do, right? And the same in
So
Gaza,
why did you feel like you were defeated?
and so on.
What was the reason that you left, and many like you left with the feeling like you were defeated? What was the reason for that?
Because it's these short blitzkrieg style operations, in, out. It's not bringing the enemy to an absolute surrender. Nasrallah was still in power. These scumbags, Sinwar and friends, were still in power in Gaza. Again, we have the Second Lebanon War. We had the 2009 war. We had the 2014 war, 2019 war. Okay, I mean, like, so what did I buy exactly by hitting you hard? We eliminated strategic targets. See, our government and our military leadership were trying to sell us this crap that, no, it's not a defeat. Because we strategically blah, blah, blah. And that's correct. The US military, together with Israel, have strategically destroyed the IRGC. They have annihilated the IRGC in a lot of different ways. Yes, I'm not taking that away. Yes, that's on the table. We're recognizing that. Both Mansur and I are recognizing that. We're not ignorant of this. But what we're saying is, has the enemy been defeated? That's the question. Strategic targets and destroying their nuclear plan and stunting it, because that's all Israel's done for years now. Because people say, well, Netanyahu's been saying that they're coming with weapons of mass destruction any minute, any minute. He's been saying this since the 90s. Yes, because since then till now, we have continuously thwarted their plan to come to completion. And that's the point. It's not just going in, thwarting, getting peace. It's not, to me, it's not peaceful to know when I go to sleep, there's still an enemy who is training to kill me, who is rearming to kill me and to annihilate me in the next round, and the next round, the next round. That's not defeat. Defeat is his teeth are knocked out. He is not doing jack to you anymore. The end.
Yeah. And you know what? I just read right now a tweet from the head of the Iranian parliament, Hamad Kalibaf, and he's saying the steady persistence of the Iranian people have brought the strongest armies in the world to fall on their knees. And you're going to start hearing more and more of that because they see like they won. And I can imagine American soldiers, Israeli soldiers, who put so much effort, so much, of their heart and their passion and their art of war into this, to go, and their skill, and they lost brothers and sisters along the way, to go and defeat an enemy, are all of a sudden being stopped while they're winning and turned back, and their government is agreeing to a deal that is a losing deal.
Yeah.
And that is, that's definitely frustrating, man. That's shameful. And also, thinking about the Iranian people, I feel so bad for them, man. Like, think about it. They have lost trust, them and the Kurds. Everybody betrays them. Everybody promises them promises, but then they don't deliver. And the one that is trying, like Israel, they're not letting them do it. There's bigger. This is, if people want to find out, Epstein conspiracy things, is find who is benefiting from these wars and doesn't want these wars to end. Try to find these people. I would suggest go and look at Tom Barak and some of the Epstein people and start circling from there, because it seems to be here. You know what? Let's show it.
He's actually good that you mention him. He's, to my understanding, he was one of the key advisors to Trump on this wicked, stupid deal. So I'm glad you mentioned him, because because people say that we hide and hide our pedophiles and hide all our criminals, blah blah blah. No. We call them out in Israel. We call them out, and he is definitely, in my opinion, top of the list of just wicked people that are looking for their own usurpative ways. And they live on another planet, because it's a betrayal to his people. It's if he cares about the Jewish people at all, it's a betrayal to the Christian community, to the Druze, the Alawites, and everybody and their brother, and every minority, and the Kurds, and all these peoples who get the short end of the stick You've betrayed all these people with your stupid advice, and it's like, who's benefiting, right? It's the ones who benefit from war always, and they always end up on top. As we say in Israel, crap, always floats to the surface. And these people, and he's, in my opinion, he's at the top of that crap pile that's floating.
For sure, man, for sure. He's shady.
Thanks for
as
calling him out. And he's Jewish, and that's fine for me to call these. You know what I mean?
No, he's not Jewish. Tom Barak is not Jewish.
Is he not? I thought he was
he's
Jewish.
Not Jewish. He's a Catholic Lebanese.
Oh, golly, because of the name though, Tom Barak. And
yeah. No, Tom Barak
for sure he's Jewish.
Let's confirm that. Or Christian.
Yeah, I just took for granted because of the name. Golly.
No. Tom Barak is generally identified as a Christian, especially Roman Catholic, Moronic Christian of Lebanese ancestry, not Jewish. His grandparents were Lebanese Christians from the city of Zahle, who immigrated to the United States, and Barak himself has publicly been described as a Roman Catholic. So no, he's not.
Oh.
He's a Lebanese, and he is hated by the Lebanese as well. They don't like him very much. But look here, man. For reference, guys.
Basically, right?
What is that?
Because he's a globalist, right? He's not loyal to his community.
No, he wants money only. He wants money, and he's very loyal to the very rich Arab people, and that's why he was even arrested in America, because they said that he's working for foreign governments and foreign interests. So, guys, this is Israel. This is Gaza. Okay, just to get reference, Strait of Hormuz is smaller than Israel, a little bit bigger than Gaza. Okay, so if you look at the Strait of Hormuz right now, this area here is not a big area. And you think about all the shoreline here, this you don't need to be worried of this side. So it's mostly this side, okay? So let's say from here, let's take it from here, okay? From this point all the way to this point. That's your area of operation. Do you think America cannot handle this? They have no air force. They have no forces on the ground. They're too afraid. They get obliterated immediately. They have no navy. You can freely operate in this area, and the people hate them. So this is a country that all of the people inside the country hate them. This is an easy target strategically. I'm saying this as someone who was a military personnel and who knows how strong America is and how strong Israel is. I'm not saying it's just, like this and take it, but you need to prepare for it. But I'm saying this is not storming Normandy. This is not D-Day. This is not fighting against the Russians right now or the Chinese. This is fighting against a very weak, crippled, demoralized, fanatic, stupid enemy. So all you need to go and just go and like bunker buster, bum, 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 bum. These places here, bunker buster them. Bring your navy, destroy everything that moves in that area. Make a warning. Anything that moves in this area is going to be killed. You have 48 hours, 74 hours. Get out of here. Everybody get out of here. 3 days. I don't want to see a single living person. After that, we napalm, we laser beam, we bunker buster, we kill everything that moves. Nothing is going to be alive. Scorch earth. And then that's it. You solve the Hormuz problem forever. It's yours.
And you have the Emirates right there.
Yeah, you have the Emirates here.
That point. So you have an ally right there. That
that's what I mean. You have your bases here.
Stage your troops right there, right?
They say that even Israel have secret bases here. Like, there's rumors that Israel even have secret. Yeah, exactly. They're saying that Israel have secret bases here and here and here and here and here and here and here. So, long story short, we know that there's American bases here.
Yeah.
Just go, bum, 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 scorch earth, eliminate, take it away. That's it. It's yours. And then don't negotiate with them. Don't give them money. Why would you give them $300 billion? Eliminate them.
Take over the straits. Why not?
Take over Iran. Take over Iran and then make Iran your next Venezuela. Give it to the Iranians. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Why are you Why are you keeping that regime?
I couldn't help myself.
No, I know you're joking, man. I would have not let you go if I didn't know you're joking about this. So why are you letting the Iranians stay in power? Why are you giving them, actually you gave them back the Strait of Hormuz. You say, yeah, you guys have it. Who is telling you that you need to do that? And then all of a sudden, you're saying also Lebanon, let's give it to Turkey and Syria. Israel, stay out of there. Keep Hezbollah. And all of this happened right after Qatar told Trump, you're going to get $19 trillion. Now, people, you need to understand, it's not like he just got an SMS message. Are you awake, Era? From his buddy. Hey, what are you wearing? Like, he didn't get an SMS message all of a sudden from Qatar. You want $19 trillion? It's probably been talks in the making for some time.
For
And
sure.
now that he came and he said it, it means that that's it. He agreed to their terms.
Correct. And made it public.
You don't give someone a gift, $19 trillion, just like that. Hey, man, take it. Do you need to pay you now? Don't worry about it. Just buy yourself something nice. Let's not talk about it again. It doesn't work that way. You do that
does
with
this
5
remind us
shekels.
of another gift that he got from Qatar? Some kind of like flying craft of some sort,
Exactly.
Like what, like okay, so let's talk Western, right? We're talking about gifts with strings attached. These people know and have that leverage of being able to give you gifts, and you better believe they have strings attached. Okay, because again, these are Islamists. They're not giving you something for nothing. And this is what, to me personally, it's outrageous, because the blood of the people who have sacrificed the most, this is what we're saying your blood is worth. X trillion, a plane, a strategic whatever positioning or discount on oil, or whatever it may be, right? Whatever those different benefits you so-called did the art of the deal to get. And to me, it's insulting to those people that have sacrificed, not to mention, forget the Iranian people, forget everybody, forget Israel. What about the American troops who have been sacrificing and laying their lives down on the line for you to be able to annihilate and eradicate the threat of terror, global terror, but mainly terror to the United States, that has been reigning since 1979. Literally.
And it's not like it was an equal fight where you gave it your best. You went on it. Homelander and Butcher, you went on it. Superman and Doomsday threw all the buildings in the street, and then both of you right now are falling on the ground, and you come and say, you know what, it's not worth it. Let's have peace. And they say, even though all the death from both sides, it's just gonna cause more death. It's not like it was an equal fight where you come and say, guys, we tried. It's just not worth it. No, you went and you defeated them. So just finish the job, and instead of finishing it. Now, lies destroy lives here. Thank you so much, man. That's very, very generous of you. He's saying something very smart here, saying the irony is, if America did establish some bases in Iran, they wouldn't lose many troops. They could easily destroy the RGC. They don't have to go into the cities. They can stay outside and win with drones and air support. Easy.
Correct. Do
it older style of the book. Go do it Masada style. Just siege them. Go inside Iran and use Iranians to help you, and put a siege around these Ayatollahs, Shiite camps, and let them starve. Let them die of dehydration. Starve. If you want peace, you want food, get out of there. Come out of there naked, hands in the air. Come out, checkpoints, no suicide vest on you. RGC, prison. Give it to the Iranians. Let them finish their style. Don't look there. Just let them do whatever they want with them. These guys have been killing and raping their daughters and selling their hairs.
That's right.
That's how Iranians hate them. Put it there. Turn a blind eye, let the Iranians give their own justice. The rest, peaceful. Come here, no problem. Here, water, food. That's it. It's like it's honestly not a hard war if you fight it smart. It's not a hard war. We're talking right now just Strait of Hormuz. We're talking right now the rest of Iran as well. The people there want to kill their own government. You're going into a place that is like all odds are on your side. They don't have an air force. Their secret service doesn't work anymore. The people hate them so much. You have your secret services in their secret service. And all of a sudden, they get so much money. And that's it, guys. War is over. And we're going to give them all their demands. They get to keep the nuclear program. They get to keep the Strait of Hormuz. They get to keep the insurance that we don't attack them or Lebanon. Israel is not going to be involved in this. No one is asking Israel. Stay out of this, Israel. Like, they decided for Israel here. And then on top of everything, they also say, and don't interfere with our internal affair. Why? Because they want to go right now. Once the war is over, they will come out of their caves, just like Hamas.
Exactly.
And remember, what Hamas did And you've seen it, Doron, because you've been there. Every time
Yep.
that there was ceasefire, what was the first thing that Hamas did when they got out of their tunnels?
They beat the living crap out of the people, tortured them, took bricks, and were holding a person's arm or arm or leg, and would just drop bricks or take a big stick like what you would use for like a hoe or whatever, and they'd remove that part and just use that and just like a bat and just start breaking bones, shooting people in the kneecaps, as they're screaming for mercy, the whole 9 yards, just torturing people and doing public displays of, you mess with us, this is what we're going to do to you.
That's exactly. And guys, if you don't know, Doron spent about 500 days in Gaza in the last war. In his particular unit, they had a lot of very interesting things. But one of the things that they would do is they would also escort a lot of these Hamas people into the Israeli prisons, and they will get to talk and hear from them very clearly what's happening, and also from the Gazans themselves. They were very, very close to the population there. Every time Israel did a ceasefire, the cowards of Hamas came out of their caves, and the first thing they did is they went to settle the score with the Gazans who tried to break free from their reign of terror. Shoot them, torture them, break their bones, humiliate them, steal all their stuff. The RGC is going to do the exact same thing. And that is the deal that Trump is signing with them right now. And that's why I have a problem with that. That's why I said, even in my last video, I said, I'm probably going to have some diehard Trump supporters who are going to be so upset with me. They're going to unsubscribe or leave. And I'm sorry, guys. You know what? If you don't want to hear different opinions that you might not like sometimes, then fair enough. I respect that. You don't have to stay on my channel. You don't have to stay here. It's a free world. I would love you to stay, but you don't have to stay. But we need to be ready. And that's something I'm always going to do in Doron as well. Whenever something is wrong, we call it out. We don't go die hard following someone just because we like him. It's not a football game here. You're always with your team, even when they're wrong.
Correct.
When someone does a mistake,
Trump has done a lot of great stuff. He's done a lot of great stuff in the past few years, but this right here is disastrous. And you're right. We got to call it out. We can't ignore that. It's not because we disrespect him. I definitely don't. Just even when Biden was in power and Obama was in power, and these are guys that I completely disrespected, just full transparency. I never shared any of those like mocking posts or memes or anything like that, making fun of them, because I think that, at the end of the day, these are world leaders and we respect that they hold, which is exactly what we're doing. We're not name calling. We're not making fun of. We're just calling out the facts as they are. And I think another important point that's important to point out here too is our good old buddy Joe Kent. And talking about honor and respect, this is a man that served the United States honorably. He had a great military record. I know a few people that have even served with him and had nothing bad to say about the guy. But ever since he got into public office, the things that they've said, they are just uncharacteristic of everything he's done up until that point. And he's done more damage, I would say, than anyone else since this war with Iran, through his rhetoric, through his appearances on podcasts and you name it. And I'm following him, and every day I'm seeing his posts that are, his tweets and whatever. They are just insane.
He's
insane.
obsessed.
It's like it's upset. Yes, it's what I call the Israel derangement syndrome. Because people are like, it's not anti-Semitic if I say this or if I say that. It's, I'm like, no, you know what? It's Israel derangement, because this guy, and you guys can check, you can call me out on this, but just look at every tweet he's ever done and compare it to anything I've posted or Mansur, he speaks about Israel more than we do.
Yeah.
He
blames Israel for the death of his wife, man. His wife was killed by ISIS. ISIS took responsibility over this. And that happened far away from Israel when America was there, not related to Israel. And he blames that on Israel. Like, he went so far.
And it's tragic. And it's tragic, and that's the thing. The guys I've spoken to, like I said, and by the way, like, we're the same age, right? We're the same age. He's served less time than I have collectively in his military service. I'm not, this isn't like a pissing contest, but his military career outshadows mine by far. Like I'm putting that on the table, full disclosure, but we're talking about peers here. We're the same age. He served in his country for, I think, about 20 years. I've been serving for 20 plus years. And I know what it's like to sacrifice. Mansur knows what it's like to sacrifice, to give his life for his country, to dedicate himself. We understand the sacrifice. We understand, what you've put on the line. I haven't lost my wife to a scumbag terrorist attack. Okay. So I cannot relate to that, but I can completely sympathize with them and feel terrible for what these scumbags did. But you know what? He knew what he signed up for. His wife knew what she signed up for. They understood the risk, both of them. They're both adults. They're both have a very good record and history, and they knew what they were doing. And that's the price of going out to war. And it sucks. But to play the victim game and to throw Israel under the bus, and while your country is at war, and that's my biggest hurt here. Hate on Israel all you want, be Israel obsessed if you want, and deranged. I don't care. But the fact is, your nation is at war. Your countrymen are at war, and you're using your military record, your reputation to sway American warfighters who are downrange, and to second guess the why. Would you like, and that's the question he needs to ask himself, because I reserved or held back from making any public statements and accusing my government for the crap that led to the October 7th massacre. Okay. I reserved from saying anything like that publicly. You better believe I was outraged. You better believe I had people that I held accountable for what led to those blunders. But you were at war. And what a soldier does when you're at war is you focus on the war at hand and let heads roll when the war's over, and we have committees, et cetera, and you do that. But he stepped down at the heat of the war and made all these public statements to discriminate the president and his administration, and to try to cause a wedge between Israel and him, and so on and so forth. And you just don't do that.
It's just like you said, he abandoned his job, which is, counterterrorism, just when he was needed the most, when his country went to war with the head of global terrorism. And that's, to me, is a very, very shameful thing to do. Now, someone said here, as bad as Trump is, it would be worse under a lefty anyway. We all know it. And that's my thing, guys. This is so true and so obvious that we don't even need to say that. Needless to say, like, the left have become so delusional, so dangerous, that, they're crazy. They're crazy. But here's what actually concerns me sometimes. The left is like, you're driving in a car where the driver is so easily influenced by bad advice from communists and jihadists that he might crash the car and kill everybody in it. So you're really worried letting someone like that lead the country, because they're so easily tricked and manipulated. I believe most of them, at least from the leadership and perspective, like, many of them are not just evil people. They generally think in a woke, kind of bizarre, narcissistic way, often, that they're going to do better for the world, and that they know better. Only they're just so detached that it's dangerous. What concerns me about the right is that, and what Trump is doing right now, is that a lot of these things that are being done there, they know what they're doing. Trump is,
or they should know.
Yeah, no, but Trump has been very, very vocal about Iran for very many years, about Islam. You have, clear videos of him talking about Qatar, talking about radical Islam, talking about Iran, talking about negotiation, etc. He knows what he's talking about. And they know that Israel is way more capable and way more trustworthy and humane than Syria, for example, and Turkey. They know that. It's not a brain. It's not a big. You don't need to be rocket science to actually understand that. But all of a sudden, they're working towards agendas that don't seem to make sense. And there's a lot of money involved in the back. And that's where I'm concerned. Like, what is going on with that?
Yeah.
You know, they've done a great job, and any day of the week, I would still prefer them over the left, because the left will bring the apocalypse way, way faster with good intentions. They will literally destroy the world with a lot of good intentions. The road to
Yeah.
hell was based on good intentions. You know, there's a saying like
Exactly.
that. Is that a saying in English as well?
It
Because
is
there's a saying,
correct.
yeah, the road to hell is based on good intentions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's happening right
You
now with
know,
Trump. Hmm.
yeah, talking about that, like Marco Rubio, right? I mean, he made that public statement back in 2015 where he laid out the cards on the administration at the time on how disastrous it would be if they don't stand up against the Iranian regime and so on and so forth. So you know that Rubio is not he's not satisfied with this crazy deal. I can almost guarantee it. And I know also that the rumor mill is claiming also that Hegseth is part of that consensus that this is just not wise. Um, but it seems that again, you mentioned one of the individuals, which now thank you for educating me about his background, because I just took for granted all these years I've heard his name, and it's like I
No,
didn't
no, he's a
even I didn't
Christian.
even
Yeah.
do a background check. It's now it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me actually. So good to know. But you have advice like this by these globalists, right? And it's like their Christian, how to say, conscience, which I think Rubio and Hegseth both seem to have more of. These guys, they have no conscience. They sold their conscience to the devil a long time ago, so to speak, for whatever. They'll sell their mother for
Hmm.
for power and fame. And these are the ones who I think were the ones that were able to sway Trump. And what was the angle that they found? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what's the incentive behind Trump's decision, these current decisions, um, because he really is that understandable, right? I mean, he's that elusive to everyone, including I think his close, his very even those are the closest to him. Never really know what movie he's going to make. Was it that he liked that steak or didn't like the steak, that day, and just decided to take it out on whatever. But again, all jokes aside, he is definitely one of the most unpredictable leaders. And I think he knows that, and he's using that to his advantage constantly since he's gotten into power. That's kind of like his ace up his sleeve. And hey, maybe everything we just said here, tonight is just, what I mean? We just been blowing hot steam here, and come Friday, come whatever, it turns out to become something completely different. And
You know what I wonder?
matter
Sorry.
because
Yeah.
it's the general messaging that you're giving your enemy, and what
Mhm.
they're telling their people is again back to that issue. That to me is the main point here.
Hmm. I wonder sometimes if there's like some kind of a frustration in this administration where there's like two layers of decision making. There is the common America first strategic kind of goals and decision making where everybody's in the same bowl. Hegseth, Rubio, Trump, Vance, and everybody. Like they're very clear what they want to do. And then once in a while, you have like Trump will come and tell, "Hey, listen, kids, get out of the room. Mama and Papa need to talk." And then he will bring, Witkoff and Kushner and Tom Barak and all like financial buddies, and
The
they will
globalists.
push, yeah, the globalists, and then will push for decisions that will not really make sense with the goals of America and with what needs
Yeah.
to be done, kind of logically. And then the door is open. Everybody's like, fixing their shirts. Come in, kids. You can come back. And then Vance and Rubio and Hegseth come in and said, "Okay, guys, we're stopping the war in Iran." It's like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Israel can't attack anymore Hezbollah. Why? Yeah,
Yeah.
because Iran asked for. Okay, but they're losing. Why are we asking them? Yeah. By the way, about that, they're gonna keep their nuclear weapons. Excuse me? Yeah, not the weapons, the nuclear program. What? Yeah. And about that again, they get to keep the Strait of Hormuz. Like a second ago, we were defeating them. Like what? did we lose the war and we didn't hear? Like, I can imagine Hegseth and Rubio going like, what? Did we lose the war, guys? Yeah, so they get to keep the nuclear program, get to keep the Strait of Hormuz, get to keep charging money for it. They get us to promise them that we won't attack them. They get to kill and butcher their own people, and no one can say anything about it anymore. So we're not going to interfere anymore. Tell Elon Musk, no sending more Starlinks there. We're not interfering. Right. Let them kill their own people. And also, we promise them that we will not let Israel defeat Hezbollah. And everyone's like, what? Yeah, we got a solution for that. Turkey and Syria are gonna. There are guys there.
Yeah, Golani.
They will do it. They will do it. Golani. They will do it better than Israel because they're very good people. So I can imagine sometimes it must be very confusing.
Yeah.
To be to be in that administration where all of a sudden things just go so different. Lies destroy lives. Thank you so much for this again, man. Did you see Raymond Ibrahim's most recent interview with Bannon? No, I haven't seen. Maybe I'll watch it after this one. Super. Raymond Ibrahim, do you know this guy, by the way?
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah.
He's good. He's good. I'm
really like to have him on the podcast, by the way.
I would love to as well. Yeah.
He's a good
If anyone knows him, hook him up with me and Doron. Would love to have him on our show, and also have ourselves and his show if ever it happens. That's a very fascinating, very knowledgeable guy. Super interesting. Shane Bannon is such a fool. Keep in mind, Raymond's goal is to wake people about Islam, not to defend Israel. And I am completely fine with that. I don't need people. Here's the thing. Like, I think a lot of times Israelis are a bit too sensitive about this. I don't agree with a lot of things that Spain, Norway, Belgium, Russia, Finland, most countries in the world, like, I don't 100% agree with everything they do, and I don't care also. It's like, and a lot of time I have criticism about their culture and society. Like, one of the biggest criticisms that I have towards, let's say, the Western, German, European kind of society is that they're unfair with their women. They think they're fair, but they're unfair. They teach them that career is the most important thing in life, and that staying at home and a family is like old school and misogynist. And then all these women, they end up turning 40 and 45 years old, and they didn't freeze their eggs. They don't have a partner, and they can't make children. And now they're like desperate to have a kid because everybody's going to Christmas parties and they're staying home alone. And it becomes very sad when he turns 50, 60, 70. So these women, looking back, would realize all of a sudden, man, if only they told us to actually try to look for a good man, not leave my career completely, but build a family, build like something like that, I would not be right now spending the next 40 years of my life. Because people live today until 40, 80, 90. Sorry, until 90, 100 even sometimes. So the rest of your life, but your eggs, they still, they just don't work anymore. After the age of 40, 45, 46, it's very, very hard to get pregnant. So I have criticism in Germany, for example, in Europe. I think they're handling their people terribly. But that doesn't mean that I'm anti-German. So the same thing. Anyone that have a problem with Israel or doesn't agree, it's okay. It doesn't mean he's anti-Semitic. I have no problem with him. But as long as he's on the right side of history. So this guy, Raymond Ibrahim, he's definitely exposing Islam. So in my book, he's doing a great job. And even if he doesn't agree with Israel, some things or some not, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. He's just doing a great job.
Correct. Yeah, because that's the thing too, is like people, you're right. There's a sensitivity within the Jewish community because we've been criticized for so many times and had all this anti-Semitic stuff that we have like a knee-jerk reaction to call anything out that's criticizing as anti-Semitic. And I've seen a lot of these posts by these Zionists that I'll never share on social media because I'm like, bro, I don't share your sentiment. Like you look at you knee-jerk reacting to a statement or whatever, and oh, they all betrayed us, oh, they've all done us all wrong. Yeah, you can criticize us, absolutely, and I agree with like the point that you're making. And you don't have to be my friend, so to speak, in order for us to have things in common. And that's like, to your point, is that definitely with Raymond Ibrahim and I would say with us, we're doing our best to try to expose the dangers of jihadist Islam and how they're trying to take over the world. And the work that he's done in that is probably one of the best on the planet, I would say, in so many regards, just because of his, his background, which is way more, with letters behind your name, so to speak, right? Versus, a guy like me that, Kiryat Mona, we barely make it out of high school,
I like falafel and sabich. I know a very good sabich place. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good, very good. Down the street here, I got
You
good
know,
friends.
yeah, I think there's two camps when it comes to this game of, different opinions. There's two camps. There's a camp of we agree to disagree and we all have our own opinions. We respect one another
Right.
for that, and that's great, and we have no problem with that. And then there's a camps of I want to convert you by force. I want to take what's yours. I want to destroy your life. I only can't do it right now. So I'm going to pretend that I'm playing this game. And then I'm going to come and say a different opinion. And I'm going to come and attack you. So you need to be very clear the difference between the two camps. Once you know that, okay, all of us are playing this game and it's perfect. But then comes like the Muslims people, they come and they want to convert you. They want to force you to join their religion. They want to take what's yours. They want to make you slaves. And they want to execute you and behead you and stuff like that. And they're saying that, but they can't because you have laws that protect you. So then they will sit and they'll play this game with you and tell you, yeah, but I don't agree with you. Your country is genocide and this. To these people, I have no patience. These people, because you can see through them. They're lying.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be patient. Someone is saying Alex Chertin 3. Thank you so much, Alex. That's very kind of you. He's saying it's unfortunate, but we did a lot in this war, and this is not the first time we are alone. We need to think further and not analyze something that is not depending entirely on ourselves. I agree with you 100%. It's hard to be alone in the world, and hear me out. I don't know what you think about this, Doron, but I divide the world into the sea world. Okay, let's look at it like the sea world. You have in this ocean, floating ocean called Earth, you have an orca, which is America. You have a white shark, which is, let's say, China. And you have a hammer shark, which is, let's say, Russia. All right. And you have an octopus, which is world Islam, like a big octopus with tentacles. And you have Europe, that is a tuna fish. Everybody want to take a bite of Europe. They're tasty, but they're not really relevant to the, dynamic of the ocean. All the rest of the nations are small fish. And you can't swim in the ocean alone because the orca, the white shark, the hammer shark, the octopus will kill you. So you need to be under the protection of one of them. You need to be on Team Orca, Team America. You need to be on Team Russia, Team China, Team Octopus. And at this moment, because the orca, sashimi, the orca is so strong, Team America is the strongest, and the tuna fish is swimming next to Team America and is enjoying the privilege, and in Canada and others, like, enjoying being part of Team America. And that includes Israel, which is like, a super, super efficient and dangerous and strong fish, but it's just not as big as these ones. So now you have all the others joining together. So all of a sudden, the white shark and the hammer and the octopus are all working together because they want to defeat the orca. Because once they take down the orca, they're stuck killing one another. They want to dominate the world. And we as Israel right now, we are in Team America. But the problem here, yes, the octopus is a magnificent animal. I agree with you. And it's one of the smartest animals in the world. And I love them, Tatiana, 100%. I apologize to all octopuses out there for referring you to global jihad, Islamist jihad.
And all the other fish.
And all the other fish. All the other fish. just for the example here, okay? Just for the metaphor.
It's a parable. It's a parable.
It's a parable, exactly. Thanks for understanding me, Tanya. Thank you. Let them be jellyfish. Yeah, but jellyfish is like, it's just wobbling around. It doesn't have a brain. They at least have some kind of agenda.
Well, you have those massive jellyfish, by the way.
Yeah.
They're pretty terrifying.
Exactly. So the problem is with America that America is right now is Superman, and Israel is like Batman. That's great. But what happened when Superman became Homelander? And when Superman became, a bad version of Superman, then no one can defend yourself from him. He can just go and like destroy the world. And I think people should have a contingency plan if that ever happened, God forbid. But and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But what if that happened 50 years from now? If Mamdanis and their likes keep growing in America, and look what's happening in the UK. It's going to become soon enough. It's going to become a Muslim caliphate. What if America become a woke, jihadist, communist, brain dead caliphate, and the conservatives there become the minority and they start being hunted, and Christians are not allowed to pray, and not allowed to practice their faith and oppress and etc., then everybody else who counted on America is big time screwed. So that's why I think like everybody in the world should start thinking, how can we be able to defend ourselves? So I agree with that. It just
Yeah.
doesn't look like it's feasible right now. It's way too far, because these nations are so big and strong that they affect everyone. Like every one of these nations is just so big and strong. You can't stand them alone. Ukraine would have never withheld alone against Russia for so long, and they're doing an amazing job. But
Yeah.
the entire West was behind them with technology, with this, with that, helping them, sponsoring them, and they were just extremely brave. But still, Russia would have came and just rolled over them just because of the sheer force and size and numbers. And also would probably just do a lot of things that they don't dare to do right now, because they know that NATO and the West will interfere if they dare to do it. Israel is a mantis shrimp. Small and covered with horns. Yeah. Well, anyway, go on.
Yeah. But what I will say to that effect, though, too, this is something that I've told Israelis for a very long time. They're always saying, we do need to make sure that we have America in our camp and as an ally and and that's so important. With all these geopolitics and political groups I've been with and whatnot. And I've always argued that that's not true. Israel can stand alone. Yes, I do believe in understand in developing relationships with allies and with nations and trade, import, export, all the different things that get affected with that. But that shouldn't be your main priority as a nation. Your main priority is, and especially I believe for Israel, is that Israel can always stand alone, because Israel's never alone. Israel's the only country in the world that has God on their side, literally, scripturally speaking. There's no other country in the world that has the promises in the Bible that promise, right? Like, for example, the United States. Are you in the Bible? No. If anything, Turkey, Syria, all these countries that we're talking about, that are in the center of the stage, so to speak, right now. And so for me, that's something I've always believed, is that as an Israeli and a believing Israeli, I believe in the Bible, I believe in the promises, that what we need to do is we need to look to God and look, and ask him, what do you want us to do? Instead of look to Trump, look to Biden, look to whoever's in power at the time. And you know what I mean? And play the kiss up game. We don't need to do that. And this right here is the positive, I think, on to end in a more positive note, so to speak, in all what we've been saying. The positive of this is Israel is being backed to a corner where we need to look to each other, as we always have throughout history. And thank God we have the wonderful Druze community as part of the Commonwealth of Israel, who are great. They're a great b'nai brit, as we say in Hebrew, blood brothers and allies. Yeah. And I believe we can stand together, and we know that God is on our side, and no one can stop what God has in plan and in store for this beautiful country and nation. And Psalm chapter 2 says it all, and I have a lot of people say, how do you keep so positive with all this insanity? Like, they're more outraged than I am. And I'm like, guys, Psalm chapter 2, okay? The nations will turn against us. So I'm not in shock when it happens. It sucks. It sucks to be alone, but the hope, you have to find a hope. And for me, my grounding is the Bible, is the word of God. And Psalm chapter 2 says that God in the heavens, as he's looking down at the derangement of the nations and how they're turning on Israel, it says he's sitting there in the heavens laughing, right? So if God's laughing in the heavens, then what should our response be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why should we fret or threat, or however you say it in English, the word?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And you know what? We can finish with this shocking statement that Trump did in the beginning, which...
In the United States, there would be no Israel.
Wait.
Oh, this is great.
In the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel, because no other president was willing to do what I did.
You know,
Wow.
that's
Where's the
jumping a
fear
little
of
bit.
God?
That's
Where's the
jumping
fear of God?
exactly. That's jumping a little bit over your weight class.
Yeah.
That's that's jumping a little bit over your weight class. That's without me, there will be no Israel. Uh, where's the fear of God? Exactly. Where's the humility?
Exactly.
Where's the fear of God? And let's be honest, with all due respect, and Donald Trump have done amazing things for Israel, and we're always going to be grateful for that.
Yes.
But there were also other presidents who did amazing things for Israel, that stood beside
Right.
Israel. And also, Israel stood beside you. And let's be honest, America would not exist if it wasn't for Israel. Christians would not exist if it wasn't for the Jews. So this goes really, really back. And if you come and say you're Christian and you think that because of you, Israel exists, then I don't know. Like, doesn't that bother Christians in America when they hear that?
Hmm.
Like, doesn't that bother them? Like, I think.
I know the Bible believing Christians, it bothers them. My good friends, Christopher Keel, for example, God's Zionist book. He spoke, by the way, at the incredible event that we had, the ICEJ Jerusalem Summit. He and the many other great speakers that were there, and we missed you, by the way. I know we had a lot of mutual friends there too, and this would have been a great event for
Mm,
many of our crowd, so to speak, right? These are people that recognize that Christianity has become arrogant. They have not heeded the warning of Paul. I believe it's Romans 11, I think. Maybe I could be wrong. Romans 11, or yeah, I think it's Romans 11, that talks about the olive tree and how you're grafted into Israel, right? As the nations, the Bible believing Christians, and then the warning is that Paul is giving them is do not become arrogant to the Gentiles that feel like, oh, we've replaced Israel, right? Because of their unfaithfulness, I took their spot, so to speak, right? And you're
hmm
standing in a place of arrogance and thinking like, well, now it's all because of me, right?
hmm
Um, oh, our good friend Joe Patty here. So that's Bible believing Christians, I would say yes, because they read that and they tremble at God's word and the warning that they got from the apostles.
Exactly, and that's the same. That's what I was wondering, because I know that politics in America is very, very big, and it infiltrated a lot of the church. And it's
Mm.
natural, like the people in the church are also citizens of the country, so they all have their political opinion. But I feel like in America sometimes it goes a little bit too much, and
Yeah.
then the message of God or the theology start becoming a little bit more influenced by which political side you're standing on, what promotes and what's not, and you should never go there. And that's why Jesus did this famous thing when he was shown the coin, and he came and said, show me the coin, which picture is on the coin, give to Caesar what to Caesar, and give to God what to God. And he was like very, very clear with the coin that he was holding, and
Mm.
said the message in the end that faith should not be mixed with politics.
Mm.
Let politicians play the political games, stick with the word of God. So if I was, living in the US right now and I would see myself as a devout Christian, I would definitely be bothered by that. I'd be like, I don't think that Trump, is saying that from an evil place. I don't think that
No,
he's,
no.
I think that's probably, I used to call it when I was in the army, when some of my soldiers would not never have filter on their mouth. I call it brain farts. Like he have brain farts and just comes out. Like he just he doesn't hold back. Like he just says stuff. So I think a
Yeah,
lot of time he just throw things in the air, and in that case, he kind of jumped over his weight class.
yeah, yeah. Agreed. And
Yes.
yeah, he needs to tone down on that, obviously, in my opinion, right? Especially when you're making such a public statement like that, and in such a sensitive time, right? With the relation with Netanyahu and kind of making him into like the bad guy, so to speak, of like, I know he wasn't happy, and it's sensitive. It's sensitive, and Israelis are paying the heaviest price here. Let's remember, out of those who are not in the places like Iran or Syria or Lebanon, as the ones who are defending themselves, we're really the ones who are been inflicted the most here, and we've had the most at stake here, and to kind of belittle us and overlook what we've paid, and it's not cool at all.
Not cool at all. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Anyway, all of you back home, guys, thank you for tuning in. Me and Doron here, 2 hours and 15 minutes, man. I think we thought we were gonna talk for like 40 minutes, and look at us here. Two old dogs just coming in, just trying to share a little bit what we know about the Middle East. I hope you found this episode helpful. I want to remind you all, go and check Doron's show on YouTube. He have a great channel. We want to get this channel to become bigger. I'm going to put you the link right here. So this is the link for his show. If you haven't subscribed to his channel already, go and subscribe. The name on your channel is the Doron Keidar, right? Just simple.
Just the Doron Keidar podcast. Yeah.
Doron
But why'd
Keidar
you put a link to your part to your YouTube? I don't understand, man. What's the deal?
No, man. You named your episode. You called your episode the Ashkar Show. He literally called this show the Ashkar Show. This is aired on my channel and his. Yeah, go follow him there. Nice trick. And also,
I gotta mess with you.
Yeah, go and check his Instagram as well, and his ex. He's very, very active. I think lately, maybe we can talk about this in another episode if you want. You had this like fascinating debate with Nemo, I think. Nemo, what's his name?
Nima Yamini.
Nima Yamini, and you gave it to him, I think. And also there was
and Dan Bilzerian, by the way, who
Dan
stepped
Bilzerian
out.
was there as well.
Yeah. But he literally stepped out right when it was. He literally just came in to give his little 2 cents. And so part of what I said there was in response to his outrage and Israel derangement, rant. But the thing was that those who were the hosts are basically outright super anti-Semites, and from our Arab neighbors, and it just went. Let's just say they got a little sensitive when I started to hit a few truth bombs in there, and but thanks to Nima, actually, who pulled me into that conversation, because I was literally looking for some other friends on X that I'm usually a part of a forum, and we usually to hear what they had to say, and so I was looking more for the Iran stuff, and then when I saw that with Nima, I was like, all right, I'm curious what he's saying here. And then he saw me in the chat and goes, oh, Doron's here, because we've been going at it in the back channels on a private chat. And that's how that materialized. So it was just hilarious, because I don't go around trying to, bomb the show of these anti-Semites. It's like, guys, do whatever you want to do. And
and people are asking where can they watch it. I've seen a clip of it on your Instagram, right? You put a clip there.
Yes, I shared the part where I opened with the last end of that rant where this guy like lays into me and calls me a dirty was it Israelite pig or something like that, and all kinds of nice slurs. And so I was like, okay, cool, yeah. Apparently I rattled your cage a little bit with a few truth bombs.
No, that's great. So anyone who want to watch it as well, this is in the last video on his Instagram. Go and find it. You can see it there. It's an X Twitter debate, so it's audio. So you don't see their faces. You see the icon, you can hear them. It's one of these talking rooms. I've been to some of them before. It's pretty cool, where people get to debate and just talk and share stuff, but audio also. So whoever stayed until now, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do the whole shebang. Go and check my Patreon where you can find practical, direct ways to support this work that I'm doing financially, and as well with Doron as well. You can go and check in his links and his channel if you want to help your content creators to keep making videos for you. That's a great way to do it. I want to thank everyone that came and gave super thanks here. Highly appreciated. Starting from Lies Destroy Lives. I'm saying your name correct right now. Alex as well. Thank you so much for that. And who else? And that's about it from that aspect. So guys, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. I'm going to be here every day trying to give you right now an update until I finish. Actually, I'm flying to the UK soon to join some kind of a conference. So I might not do lives when I'm there. But while I'm still home here, I will do my best to keep you updated every day. And I think there's a lot of things that are happening right now with this deal that should be brought to our attention, and it should be learned to read the small letters in between, because the people who are making this deal will try to paint it like it's a great deal and a great victory. But in the Middle East, if you want to measure victory, measure it through the eyes of your enemies. See how they do. That's how you measure victory, not through the eyes of yourself and your friends. Look how the enemy is responding to that deal, and then you'll know if you won or not. And it looks like America did not win at all with this deal. So you would love to host me for a podcast on our platform at Jerusalem Center of Security and Foreign Affairs. I would love that, man. Tamir. Yeah. Man, so cool that I put this message up. I didn't read it. I just put it up. I saw a message, I clicked, and it came to be this one. Yeah, definitely, Tamir, if you can contact me. And LinkedIn is probably the easiest way because I can respond there a bit better, but also on Instagram or other ways. And I'll be more than happy to come there. Always happy to come and join these really cool podcasts that we have around the world. All right, Doron, it was a pleasure, man, having you. Always pleasure talking with you, brother.
Thank you, man. It's been awesome.
It's been awesome. God bless, guys. Stay safe. See you next time.